And now I'm here in the kitchen with Chef Lynn, and we are going to cook with okra today, which I'm very excited about.
As am I.
Good. What are we going to make first?
The first thing that we're going to make is a gumbo. A gumbo is kind of one of those, you think okra, it's a ubiquitous dish that comes to mind. This wonderful kind of earthy, nutty, Louisiana flavors going on. But we, instead of using a lot of heavy sausages and chicken or even prawns and seafood, this is going to be entirely vegetarian.
All right.
We will start with the roux. Now, the roux is perhaps the most important part of the whole process. So a roux is typically equal parts flour and butter.
All right, and
now,
so far we've got melted butter in there.
I'll let you keep stirring this just to kind of achieve a homogeneous mass in here, or homogeneous slime, I guess. So a roux is actually what will thicken this kind of rustic stew. We will let this toast over medium to high heat until we kind of have almost a peanut butter colored roux. So we're going to start with kind of the trinity of Creole cuisine: garlic, onion, celery.
So a little bit of thyme now.
And now we're going to start working on the okra. So I use everything but the stem end. So where the okra emerges from the plant is obviously on the stem. The flower would have been out here. This, after having been pollinated, becomes the seed cavity. So I'm going to remove everything, or I'm going to use everything but that stem end. And again, saving that stem end for the chickens. And maybe put an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch slice on all of the okra. And it looks like we are almost ready to start adding the vegetables into. In fact, let's go ahead and start.
All right, this roux has gotten nice and brown.
And that is beautiful. Just that beautiful peanut butter color. We're going to let these vegetables, or again, that trinity, start getting really happy. Now I sound like Emeril Lagasse, sorry about that. In that roux, and sweat in that roux, and allow some of their essential oils to come out, which really become the flavoring base for everything else. Now, what is also critically important in this development of flavor is to layer these flavors. So not only do we have these vegetables sweating in a brown roux, we're going to season that roux. And it always looks like I'm adding so much salt, but that is sea salt. It acts differently than an iodized salt. It's a little bit more subtle, a little bit softer. We're going to mince some garlic into there. We'll finish off with the okra, some oyster mushrooms, some cauliflower. And now we're going to start adding some of that really rich vegetable stock.
Nice. This is going to feel far more indulgent than it is, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
I'm excited about that.
If you want to keep stirring that. So a roux doesn't reach the apex of its thickening ability until the stock or the liquid that it's thickening has returned to the boil. So we really won't know how thick this will be until we're almost there. Obviously, we're boiling at this point. You kind of need to keep that in constant motion. I'm guessing that that's going to take about 2 more cups. This is a little bit of Creole spice, something that you will never find me using at the restaurant. I enjoy those flavors, but it doesn't marry and blend well with what we usually do at the restaurant. That's a combination of chili and curry powders, cayenne, probably 6 different types of dried peppers, salt.
And it just changed the aroma in the room.
It's
wonderful.
Absolutely. We will finish that with some crushed tomato.
So once we close that lid, how long do you let it simmer before it's time to eat?
You know, it's one of the most challenging questions for a chef to answer because my stock response will always be until it's done. So I'm just gonna have to say maybe 12 minutes, 13 minutes at a very low simmer like this. The longest piece of produce in there to cook will be the cauliflower.
But happily, you have a finished product right here.
I do, because this
Look
is
at
television.
That looks amazing. And it smells amazing.
So this has been simmering away.
All right, well, I've got a bowl.
Excellent. We have some white rice that I've steamed off earlier. Right over the rice. And maybe just a coarse chop of some chives or some green onion.
Beautiful.
There you are.
That's fantastic. Let's give it a try. That's so delicious. There's so much texture in it. And it tastes like a really decadent soup. And the vegetables all have their own story to tell. This is really
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, Chef Lynn, this is delicious. All right, so we've made a big pot of gumbo, and now you have something really inventive in mind. Tell me about this.
This I'm really excited about. It's an idea that I've been working around in my mind for quite a while, and this is the perfect media to kind of display this idea. So I love to do kind of these tongue-in-cheek ideas, and if you peel back that outer layer of skin from the okra, it actually looks like corn.
Yeah, it looks like a little ear of corn.
Kernels in there. So what we're going to do is grill this, season it obviously with a little bit of neutral oil and salt in a grill pan, and we're going to present this like it was Mexican street corn or elote.
Nice.
So it should be.
And for people
fingers
who've
crossed,
never had
really fun.
Mexican street corn, tell us
We
what
will
it's
be
like.
making, instead of just one mayonnaise, we'll be making 3 different mayonnaise. Cilantro, cotija cheese, and some chili pepper.
All right. This is going to be awesome.
So we're gonna boil.
And obviously you've peeled some of them for the little corn look, but you don't have to peel
You don't
all
have
of them.
to, no. So while that's going in the pan, we're gonna make the 3 finishing sauces, one of which I've already prepared, and I've smoked eggs, and then emulsified them with the same list of ingredients that we'll be doing the other 2. So this is gonna be the neutral or white colored aioli. We're gonna try this with some poblano peppers, which to me, this is the perfect amount of heat. We've roasted 2 of these. We've steamed them so this charred skin comes off. We'll add a couple whole eggs. The juice of maybe 1½ lemons. So an emulsion is essentially combining 2 different ingredients that wouldn't naturally bond together. Oil and a fat. So in doing that, I want to make certain that that base emulsion is seasoned really well to begin with. So we'll start, and again, it always looks like I'm adding way too much salt, but you'll be surprised. One of my favorite gadgets in the kitchen is the stick immersion blender.
Now you're adding the fat, and that's where the magic starts to happen, right?
If you wouldn't mind giving some of the okra a little bit of a stir. See, we have our second emulsion ready. And now we'll go ahead and start our third emulsion. I'm gonna back off on the quantity of this one and just do a single egg, and juice of 1 lemon, and turmeric. So, same method. We have the egg, the lemon, our flavoring ingredient. We'll start by seasoning that, and then we'll start the emulsion. So it's really kind of hard to tell when these are done. I'm going to give them kind of a little poke, like almost I would give a steak or a piece of chicken on the grill. And they're incredibly close.
Okay.
So we'll start dressing the plate. So we'll start with the green aioli, the white or smoked aioli, and then lastly, the turmeric aioli. So I just use an offset spatula and kind of drug that across. We will give this just a little bit of top finishing with salt. And then we will finish it with some charred sweet corn, just to kind of bring that flavor and the whole idea of this elote okra back to home base. A little bit of the chili pepper, a little sprig of the fresh cilantro, maybe just a light squeeze of lemon or lime. And then just a little bit of the cotija cheese to finish.
Nice.
And that's it.
So excited about this.
Thank you.
Okay, I want all the flavors. Oh, wow.
Grilling the okra, it doesn't have that sliminess that is really off-putting to a lot of people.
Right,
So this is a
no.
great way to prepare it.
It's a wonderful texture, and the grilling gives it a little bit more flavor. It's nice and mild, and it can carry these beautiful sauces. This is pretty decadent, but totally delicious. Chef Lynn, thank you so much.
My pleasure, thank you.